Much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is This Morning on ITV with Wilson on Marshall, Sunday's edition. I still have my guest with me in the studio, but we want to take a look at another topic that is really bothering so many Nigerians. They really are expecting Mr. President to do the needful, talk about naming bandits terrorists, but nothing has been done about it. And I'm just like wondering what in the world is going on. Are bandits not terrorists? Are they terrorizing Nigerians? Or the crimes they've committed is not enough to brand them terrorists? Or do we have anyone in or outside government that is sympathetic towards the bandits? All these and more we'll take a look at on this discussion segment. Barsabi Thomas, let me start up with you. Because I know that you have strong views and opinions pertaining to this particular issue. I don't know if Sam we have divergent views and opinions, because I'm just catching on here, having both of you having separate opinions totally. What do you feel about the call to name bandits terrorists?
First and foremost, when Boko Haram was terrorizing Nigeria under Jonathan, Boko Haram said they wanted Major General Buhari to be the chief negotiator for them. And today, Major General Buhari is the president of Nigeria. Before then, Major General Buhari had said that the federal government under Jonathan should stop killing these Muslims. I'm a Muslim. So stop killing them. I'm a Muslim. But I said at that time, no. These people are killing Nigerians, bombing churches. It was on the later part, they started bombing mosques. It was the Christian churches they started with. And I was one of the earliest Nigerians who said, these are terrorists. And we should deal with them as such. And I remember going around TV stations saying that, look, election of 2015 is not only election, but it is to call the terrorist a terrorist. We should not allow anybody who will protect terrorists to govern us. But today, in my mind, I'm correct. Boko Haram, they are terrorists in Northeast. Those bandits who are rustlers of cattle in Northwest, they are terrorists. If you take up arms and begin to terrorize your fellow citizens, for whatever reason you think you are doing it, they are terrorists. In America, they have association of rifle owners. There was a call on Donald Trump to name them as terrorists. He said because the association was a legal association, registered, he could not declare them as terrorists. But we saw what they did when Donald Trump lost, and how Donald Trump himself instigated the invasion of Capitol Hill. Today, that is still under investigation in Capitol Hill. In Nigeria, terrorism has taken a different coloration depending on the tribe and the religion you belong to. But those of us who are civilized, we don't know the color of tribe, we don't know the color of religion. I am a Muslim. My father was Thomas when he was alive. He was a Christian, but I've never been a Christian. But my fellow Muslims who took up arms, killing people, kidnapping people for ransom, they are terrorists. They are terrorists. Then in the Northwest, where they are now kidnapping, killing, and other things, Islam did not say you should go and kidnap and kill. Islam never said that. So they are terrorists. Then if these people are terrorizing Nigerians, or except some sections of this country are more superior than the others, why would they not be called terrorists? Go and look at the advanced dictionary meaning of terrorists. It says those who use violence to
against the state.
Against the state, not only against the state, but also against fellow citizens. They terrorize citizens.
Oh.
They terrorize the state. They are terrorists.
Okay.
So, whether the federal government likes it or not, they are all terrorists.
Okay.
It is not the same thing as you carry your soldiers and you begin to go to justice of the Supreme Court at night to be investigating the Supreme Court with arms because it's from the south. That is not the justice of the Supreme Court holds Biro. Nobody has even said the justice of the Supreme Court has done any offense. And you went there with arms and ammunition to terrorize her. You yourself, you are a terrorist for going to the house of a judge of the Supreme Court. So anybody who takes arms to instill fear to obtain what he ought not to obtain legally, that person is a terrorist.
Okay, I'll come back to Barrister Epithons. Well, Samuel, you heard him. He said he just categorized terrorism acts under one strong headline, terrorists. So what do you have to say about this?
Well, it is funny that today I and my leader Barrister are going to be on different opinions.
All right.
Why? Because I own my own way of classifying terrorism is a total different way. If you look at the issue of the Sunday Igboho and the Yoruba Nation agitation, it has a face. It has a face. And it has a fight against the government. When you look at IPOB on its own, it has a face and it's fighting the government. If you look at Boko Haram, it has a face and it's fighting the government. In necessity that the people are also being attacked, but their mission is to destabilize Nigeria as a whole.
Right.
Such people can be declared terrorists, to my opinion, because they have faces.
Okay, Sunday Igboho, Nnamdi Kanu, they have
Those
faces.
are all terrorist groups because they have faces and they have a mission to destabilize the federal government or the state government. As long as they are against the constituted federal government, a constituted state government, for me they are terrorists. Classic terrorists in the definition of terrorism. Then when we look at the aspect of bandits, I classify bandits like kidnappers. I don't call them terrorists, and I cannot call them terrorists. Why? First and foremost, they don't even have a face. They are being sponsored by individuals for selfish interest. They could be politicians, they could be rich guys behind them that supply them the arms, goes kidnap this person. When they get the ransom, they take their share. Go steal this cow. When you can get so amount of cows, when we sell it out, we'll make our share, we'll get some. These are people that are frustrated in their environments, out of poverty, out of condition of the situation they are, that make them to start acting a criminal act. Are you getting it? Yeah. So if you look, they have never bombed a train, the bandit. They have never bombed any house. They never bomb any police station. They never attack a police station. But what they do, they steal individuals. They kidnaps. Kidnap is not a terrorization.
But are those
not
terrorizing Nigerians right now?
Listen, it's not an act of terrorism. Listen to me. Okay, will you tell me now that those people at the back of the river at Yekogba, kidnapping different people, collecting ransom, they are terrorists?
Yeah.
Why has the government not taken the actions of a terrorist against them? Why has the state government not taken the right actions and decisions against them? Because if they are terrorists, as I claimed, I expect the state government to even go and flush them in that creek. They should flush them in that creek. But they still give them the leverage of coming out to steal, to rob, to kidnap, and go back. For me, they are criminals, yes, but they are not terrorists. and I cannot see them to be called terrorists. People I see as terrorists are people that takes arms, physically and otherwise, against the state government, against the institution created by the state government, against the operations of the state government, to destabilize the state. That would also be a destabilization to the people of the state and the common citizens.
All right.
So, on my own opinion, this is my opinion. This is my opinion.
Okay.
That they are common criminals.
And not terrorists.
No, they are common criminals.
Barrister Thomas, you heard the submission.
Now,
They're common
my
criminals.
good friend here, he is even, with all due respect to you, you are holding brief for Gumi.
Well, no. He never said that.
I don't support what Gumi is doing.
He never said
I
that.
never said that. But what Gumi is saying is correct.
Gumi will not even make this submission. Gumi will not even make this
No,
submission.
he's not holding brief for Gumi.
We have kidnappers all over
Excuse me.
the state,
All
all
right.
over the nation.
He has the floor. He has the floor.
They are bandits.
Go ahead.
Gumi will
Go
not even
ahead.
make this kind of submission because his own submissions are what we call in law rationalization.
But he gave reasons.
Yeah.
I am going to give you reasons.
Okay.
You clear the reasons that.
Now, if I take a knife and I see you with a bag, you, how much your name? I take a knife and I see you with a bag, you are holding it. And I brandish that knife.
To collect it from you.
And out of fear, you release that bag. That fear is terrorization. And if it makes you surrender what you ought not to surrender, that is armed robbery. And it is punishable by death.
Allah. Thank you.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But not terrorists.
Now, somebody, you are saying somebody is in Yekogba terrorizing. And it appears you have still not gotten what I have been saying right ab initio for the beginning. That the Constitution of Nigeria does not give powers to the governor of a state to flush out anybody because he has no control over the Commissioner of Police in the state.
He has the control.
He has no control.
I didn't want to argue
Please.
about that. He has a full
This
control.
is a job I have been doing for 35 years. You cannot come and tell me
Why is he collecting security vote? 900 million every month.
Samuel, you are interjecting. Allow him anchor. We have just a minute to go before we go on a break.
The governor does not have control over the commissioner. The commissioner takes instruction from the IG
All right.
in Abuja. And for that reason, the governor cannot remove all those people at the Yekogba who you say they are collecting money or doing something.
They come
Okay,
to rob
Barrister
and
Ebinos,
kidnap.
you just hold on. We'll return after this, but continue
wait.
with your submission.
I will
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is TMI Sunday's edition with Wilson on Marshall. Well, it's all about the call for President Buhari to name bandits terrorists, and that is what we're taking a look at today. I have Barrister A.B. Thomas and, of course, Samuel Ehigato here with me in the studio. Before we commence conclude the discussion, I'd like to give us various definitions of the word terrorism. I use the word various. Now, the first one, the unlawful use of violence or threats to intimidate or coerce a civilian population or government with the goal of furthering political, social, or ideological objectives. Now, that is the first definition. Second definition, the state of fear and submission produced by terrorism. Third definition, a terrorist method of governing or resisting government. The fourth one, intimidation or coercion by instilling fear. Now, these are the definitions given when we talk about terrorism. Right now, back to the topic on the ground. Following this definition, is it right for the federal government to call bandits terrorists? Barrister Thomas, you are making a point.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, you can see there are 4 definitions you just brought out.
Yeah.
My brother here has been concentrating on 2 of those definitions. That is terrorizes the state. But from your definition from the computer, you find that terrorizing the populace is part of terrorism. Not only the state. And that's why I said he has been rationalizing the meaning of terrorism. Now, it's just like Sheikh Gumi also rationalizing, not calling these bandits terrorists, for the fear that if you call them terrorists, other Muslim insurgents from other parts of West Africa will come and join them. That is not a reason not to call them terrorists. A terrorist, as far as I'm concerned, giving it a broader definition that encompasses the 4 definitions we have given. If somebody who instills fears to obtain what he ought not to obtain legally, either from the state or from a citizen. This encompasses the 4. And it is either from the state or from a citizen. If you come to my house and you make me to part with what I have, and you were armed at the time you were doing that, and I have no counter force to resist you, you have terrorized me to submit what I have. Therefore, you are a terrorist. And that is why the law promulgates that anybody who is involved in armed robbery shall be liable to death penalty, and in very little cases to life imprisonment. And both of them are capital offenses. So if we see those 4 definitions you just read out, it would be wrong to begin to categorize a northwestern terrorist as a bandit and Boko Haram as a terrorist, then Eastern Security Network as a terrorist, iPod as a terrorist, then those at Yekoba as bandits. No. The moment you know, even this mask that we are using, if you put on a face mask that makes it impossible for me to see your eyes, and you hold a knife or any instrument that can be harmful to me, to obtain from me under the fear or duress that I will be harmed, you have already terrorized me. So we should not rationalize it and say because somebody roasted cow, he was not born to be a rustler. Who was born a terrorist? Nobody was born a terrorist. Nobody was born a terrorist. You came to this world.
Everybody has his own opinion.
You came to this world and met your condition. I am beginning here with you. I am suffering like you. But that does not make me, and it will never make me, to take a knife or a gun to instill fear in a person, or to instill fear in the government of the state. It will not make me do it.
All right.
Otherwise, I will become a terrorist.
Okay, Sam, over to you.
I'd like to come in here, Wilson. I will still stand by my point because 4 definitions that you gave there, the 3 of the definitions is all against state. Only one particular definition spoke about populace. And what is populace? Is a state. Yeah, the nation is populace. It's a populace. Listen, the laws that define different names has a purpose why they were created. There's a law that was created to call somebody stealing, that stole. There's a law that was created to call somebody armed robber. There's a law created to call somebody a kidnapper. There's a law that was created to call somebody a terrorist. There's a law created to call somebody bandits. And those different laws, why are they different from terrorism law? They are different from terrorism law because first and foremost, stealing is an individual action of 1 or 2 persons that decide to obtain by force. Armed robbery is same, but with arm. Banditry is the same with arm. And the same law of armed robbery helps the bandits. Because they steal with arm, cattle, they steal from people, rob them from the market. Those are armed robbers for me. There are laws that define them all. And the law that defines terrorism says when you fight to destabilize politically, religious-wise, or ideologically against the states, against the government.
Focusing on the state and government.
Yes, that will make terrorism. It is very clear defined there. I can read it out for you.
I know. Let's take a look at the activities right now of bandits, kidnappers in Nigeria.
Yeah, okay, what are the bandits
doing? Against
the
state.
What are the bandits doing? Listen, what are they doing?
No, listen, what are they doing? Kidnapping.
No, look at the crime they commit.
From government.
Then look at the crime they commit.
Yes.
I don't like to criticize them. I'm not a supporter of banditry. I'm not a supporter of armed robber. Yes. I'm not a supporter of kidnappers. I'm never a supporter of terrorists. But we must be able to define all these things. It is the act of crime you commit that makes you what you are, that makes you the criminal you are. He's a lawyer. We should be able to tell ourselves the truth. It is the act of crime you commit. And have a banditry gone to a police station to burn that police station? No. Have they gone there to attack any government institution? No. Have they attacked any institution that had to do with the government or the people in general? No. What they do, they come out of their bush, they steal from the markets, they steal from the people, and they go back into their bush. These are criminals. Let us be sincere. That is the crime they commit. So what crime now make them, define them as a terrorist to be called a terrorist? That does not make armed robber to be called a terrorist. That does not make a kidnapper to be called a terrorist. Let us tell ourselves. So it is the act of crime that leads to that.
Okay.
But when you are attacking state institutions and all these things, clear, I stand to it to be declare them as terrorists.
If they attack state institutions?
Yes. As attack churches, if they attack churches, if they attack mosques, all those institutions that are the people institutions, they should be declared terrorists.
Okay, now hold on. Now, Gumi said that if these people are declared terrorists, there will be dire consequence. That's what they said on the page of the newspaper. Now, drawing a leaf or borrowing a leaf from what he just said, I mean, it's like you're trying to give a clear cut, like federal government is doing between terrorists and banditry, kidnappers and armed robbers. Over to you, the legal practitioner here in the studio.
I have said it and I will say it again.
Yeah.
Rationalization is not part of the law of this country in determining who is a terrorist. Terrorism is the act of instilling fear either against the state or against the individual. I cannot go to Ekpoma because somebody will come out of that road to pick me or any other person. And you see that person is a
kidnappers, yeah.
So it's not a terrorist.
That's a definition of law.
Let me give you a very simple definition of a criminal offense that you commit, even you. If you stop your car on the highway without any due cause, no good reason, you just stop the vehicle there and prevent other people from passing, your conduct is likely to breach the peace. And that conduct alone is punishable as a criminal offense.
Yes.
All right? But you have not threatened anybody. You have not threatened anybody.
Yeah.
Just merely parking your vehicle along the road, blocking other vehicles from passing. Your conduct is likely to cause a breach of peace. Therefore, you have committed an offense under the criminal code.
Yes, I know.
But you have not threatened anybody. But you cannot say that because somebody's conduct is targeted at the state, like IPOD is saying, we want to be part of a different country. My friend may even get to know that under the United Nations Convention, calling for a referendum by IPOD to be an independent country is not a criminal offense. No talk of you creating.
But taking arms is a criminal offense.
Yes.
In doing that.
Taking out arms is a criminal offense.
So they become terrorists.
So the boy has never carried a gun. He has never. Instead, he commands your gun to come to him, and your gun will fall before him. That is not a Macaroni gun.
The arms found in his house, what were they doing with it?
That is your statement. That is not yes.
All right. All right.
So, as a person,
Okay.
the moment you terrorize anybody,
Yes.
the moment you terrorize
Anybody.
whether state or individual, you are terrorized. And what is terrorism? Creating fear, apprehension, not merely destroying police station. Destroying police station is treasonable. You see, when we say you are committed treason and treasonable offenses.
All right, our time is up.
Yes.
Our time is up. Our time is up. Strong
All right,
signal from the PD. You have 1 minute each to summarize your points. Samuel, quickly, what's the way forward? Should they be
Well-
named terrorist group?
Well, I remember my point that bandits are not terrorists and should not be declared terrorist groups.
Okay.
But I believe the government should look a way in to solve their problems too,
All right.
so that it will not escalate to make them become terrorists, just like the way Boko Haram is. Because they're growing up now, they're stealing, they're robbing, they are accumulating wealth. Before we know, they can build a formation that will become something else.
Yeah.
So I believe what the government should do is find a way to negotiate, speak with them, and get to know the reason why they are
What they are doing.
these things.
Thank you,
It's the same
Samuel.
things with the kidnappers. It's the same things with our armed robbers. We should always find a way how to solve what is their root of their actions.
All right.
Because we cannot just always say kill them, kill them, kill them.
Thank you.
Something
Thank you.
lead to something. Action
Thank
lead
you.
to actions.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
reactions.
Samuel. Thank you, Samuel.
So that's my own opinion. On that.
Thank you, Samuel.
Yeah.
A minute, please.
Armed robbers, Boko Haram, the so-called bandits, whoever instills fear and terrorizes anybody or state is a terrorist. The government that carries gun at night to raid people's homes at night, that government is also a terrorist government for terrorizing people.
Thank you. The opinion entirely has nothing to do with ITV, but they did their best to follow the regulations governing the airwaves. The question now is, should bandits be named terrorists?
They
We are
should.
waiting for the president and, of course, the federal government to see what they would do. And don't forget also about our first discussion segment. Yes, the election in Anambra State, IPAB ESN question. How do you think that election will go? Thank you so much for being a part of it. You sitting down at home, watching, listening, learning from us here in the studio. We'll appreciate you. Thank you so much. We'll do it next week, Sunday, God willing. I'm Winston Marshall, signing off.